The grilled bagel breakfast sandwich is back as part of Tim's 2 for $4 breakfast deal. Get yours at Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop.
Welcome to the High Top Resort.
Hey, I'm not done. You need to know this offer is good with any of our delicious classic bagel varieties like everything, 12 grain, or even pretzel. Plus, you can have your choice of sausage or bacon. Okay, now we're done. Tim's 2 for $4 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants. Offer available on breakfast sandwiches for a limited time. Plus applicable taxes. Single sandwich at regular price.
Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Awakening with Katina Love and segment on Inspiration Sunday. It is April the 10th, 2016. I am your host, Katina Love, your spiritual life coach. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show to share your journey to higher consciousness and promote your gifts and your talents in the healing arts, and or to share your wellness products and services, I would love to speak with you. I can be reached at 248-820-1563. My email is lotus, L-O-T-U-S, life, L-I-F-E, at Yahoo, the number 8 at yahoo.com. My website is katinalove.com. Our special guest today is Christina Dukes. Christina is a success manifestation coach and a catalyst for our generation, inspiring both women and men to fully believe in their potential and spiritual calling. After experiencing a series of life disappointments, Christina has learned to overcome her setbacks by transforming them into comebacks. Every disappointment and letdown has fueled her success. Christina travels the world speaking and influencing people to transform their mindset into a success state of being. She has a background in real estate, operations management, business development, and life coaching. Christina works with creative entrepreneurs and professionals, aligning them with the processes to generate profits. As a coach, consultant, and motivational speaker and aspiring author, Christina strives to influence her generation through a process called Connect, Engage, and Inspire. Christina's website is Christina, Christina, Dukes, DUKES.com. Christina, thank you so much for being a guest today. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you, and I'm very humbled that you're having me on this awesome Sunday. So I appreciate you very much for inviting me. Thank you.
You are so welcome, and it is truly an honor to have you on as well. I am so grateful to have crossed paths with you. I discovered you on YouTube, and your videos are just so inspiring. I just want you to know that you are truly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are truly making a difference in this world. You are truly helping people to change their mindset about their finances, money, and abundance. And I'm just so grateful for you.
Awesome. And I want to just say thank you as well. Just being able to be in tune, to recognize value when you see it, is an important metric in our life, and a tool that we need to be able to use, because that means that you're able to see value right away. You can see it in people, circumstances, situations. This is really good, and it's definitely in alignment with what we're going to be talking about today, and success and abundance and all those wonderful things. So how about I tell you how I got to this end, discovering abundance, and how this sort of just all happened, and how I became a coach. So I'm going to, I know they always say don't go into the past and you're dealing with law of attraction, but I just discovered something really interesting the other day, which is the past. The past, in fact, should not define you, yet it should enhance the person that you have become today. And so we can't forget the past. It's something that's happened, but you can definitely get to this place of, and this is going to be a major word when we talk about attracting abundance, but detachment from your past and recognizing and honoring the emotions and how you felt and the spiritual growth that came out of it. So I always say that God takes you through something really impactful in order to get your attention. Well, God needed my attention because I was called to do a lot more than I was doing in my life, say about 4 years ago. So for about, 2011 or 12-ish, around there, I was actually in a relationship. I was heavily involved in church. And let me know if you can hear me okay. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me, dear? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear anything.
No
It
problem.
sounded like there was just like a blank space. Okay. So then this perfect relationship. We were going to get married. And I was actually graduating from graduate school. Now, I didn't know I had been using the law of attraction, but what happened was on the day of my graduation from school, the guy showed up there and was like, it was really crazy, but the guy basically goes like, I'm the righteous son of God and all this stuff, and God didn't make you, and he said to get rid of you and not have pity on your soul.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It was horrible. And what the bottom line was that his family was pretty wealthy, and they were well off, and they were into oil. And they were looking for a person that came from the right sort of family. In addition, they were from Nigeria, so they're a little bit more traditional. But the way they handled the situation was so awful. I couldn't believe, like, these people were godly and Christian and, you know, just this whole entire situation took me through an entire process of learning to forgive, learning to first and foremost, like, forgive God, forgive myself, and then forgive them for how they treated me. But then also realizing, because God knows how to get our attention. Now, if my picture-perfect life had continued on, guess what I'd be doing? I'd be married somewhere with probably 2 kids and a white picket fence, and I would be completely stuck in a marriage that wasn't helping me fulfill my purpose on earth, that wasn't helping me pursue my potential and become the person that God wanted me to be. And not become that person because that's who God wanted me to be, but God wanted to use me as a vessel in order to impact other people, which was just not going to happen with my picture-perfect, rosy life. So let's jump forward into what's happening. So I went through this situation, and I was so devastated. I had never faced depression before, but wow, I faced every negative thing that any person has ever gone through, that's going through a test or a storm or whatever you want to call it. It's all the same. I went through all those down feelings, having low self-esteem, feeling bad about myself, being upset with myself, not wanting to, you know, go out, being really negative, just being in that weird space. So I found out online, I don't know, I just saw this ad that said be a life coach. So I just made a firm decision, you know what, I'm just going to go for this. And so I went and I did my coaching certification. And let me tell you something. I went to church. I went to counseling. And I saw a life coach. I did one session with her. And she said, what are you going to do with what happened to you? But first I couldn't process that. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm hurt. I'm upset. I'm angry. What do you mean? What am I going to do with this? But in hindsight, it was her challenging my point of view and my thought process to understand that God is more, that I am more, that I can be more, that I can use my setbacks as comebacks. So within probably a few weeks of having my coaching certification, I had like 3 clients. So it was kind of like, you know, if you think about those big flashing signs, this is it. This is it right here. This is where you're supposed to be. So I always tell people, listen to me. I finished graduate school with 2 masters. I have a master's in business administration and a master's in human resources. God didn't take me into corporate. He took me into the business of changing lives. I didn't choose this path. You'll find that when you're on your path, you don't choose the path. The path is going to choose you to the extent that you cannot ignore it. Yeah, that you can't ignore it. So this path of achieving abundance, it made me really think. You know, a lot of times, and this is the way I thought too, and a lot of us have thought this way, but it really got me in touch with a lot of my own limiting beliefs, which was that remember how I said that this guy's family had lots of money. They looked down on me and my family. I come from a not so abundant background, and I come from an environment. I come from an environment, to be honest with you, of people who had very low self-esteem. Now, God bless them, and I'm not speaking down on them.
Of course,
I came from an environment with very low self-esteem. No one believed in following their dreams. No one believed in pursuing their passion and their full potential and what's important to them. And no one really ever taught me how to do that either.
Right. Same here. Are you there, Christina? Okay, we're going to give Christina just a few more minutes to come back on the line. Just bear with me a minute here. Christina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, let's continue. All is well.
I don't know what happened there, and I'm really sorry. Do you know where I cut off?
You're talking about your upbringing, how you're,
Yes, and as I've gone through the years, I began to realize how many of us have grown up in these kind of low self-esteem environments where we're just taught to accept this mediocre life, just take the bare minimum out of life, never really want to achieve much in life, just sort of go along with it. Hopefully something good happens. Hopefully when you get out of college, hopefully you'll find a good job. Hopefully. So we grow up in these really low self-esteem type of environments, and then we are expected to perform well when we go out into the big, bad world. And a lot of us ends up running back home literally with our tail between our legs because we can't handle it. And it's really just about our emotions.
Right.
After going through this breakup, I went through this situation for a while mentally where I was like, you know what, rich people are mean. They're their money doesn't make them a better person. Like, I went through all of these feelings of, like, just being judged based on where I was. And I didn't realize that people's own fear places. So the thing is that when we're truly afraid of losing our wealth, we'll tend to be afraid of letting other people in. We'll be afraid of other people stealing our money. We'll be afraid of the lack of scarcity. We'll fear, and then we'll feel, and we'll get into this in maybe hopefully today or another time. Like, we have to have the emergency fund because we're just planning this huge emergency that's going to happen. But in law of attraction, you don't even really understand what that's actually conveying when you're thinking about emergency funds and things like this.
Right.
You begin to learn about abundance and attracting that. And so I actually didn't set off just, on my path of life coaching to really go out and just start attracting money. Money was a natural byproduct of success. It was a natural byproduct of my efforts. And not until you get to a place where you recognize that money will show up, that it is a natural byproduct of everything that you're doing, that you'll never attract it until you actually get to that place. So is there a science of abundance? So first let's talk about abundance and what that word means. So abundance means an overflow, okay? And overflow, it means that your cup is running over. For those of us who are more spiritual or, read the Bible, it talks about our cup running over, right? And when you think about success, and what success means is attaining a goal.
Right.
And then the word mindset is a belief system. So everybody believes something, and everyone has a mindset that's in a certain place. But the real question here is your mindset in alignment with what it is that you truly want? So absolutely. What is it that you truly want? Well, you've got to stop for a second, okay? And this is a place where most people struggle, but we're going to get into it first. And it's called the power of surrender. That's what the science of abundance is really all about. You've got to surrender you. You've got to surrender your ego. You've got to surrender everything that's surrounding you, that's stopping you, because those are the Now,
right.
think about why you need to manifest money. For those of us that read the Bible, it says that God provides all of our needs, that
Right.
He has great plans for our life, and money, right? Like, why is this happening? Well, it's something called resistance, okay? And this resistance that we're putting up, I'm going to tell you exactly where it comes from.
Mhm.
It's all about superficial measurement, okay?
Right.
Superficial measurement. Now, what is superficial measurement? Superficial measurement is when we continuously compare ourselves to the lives of others, when we
Right.
continually compare our success and our money and all these things to what's going on in other people's lives, then we superficially begin to manifest these blocks that prevent us from manifesting or becoming successful or having the things that God has in store. Because when we begin to look at what other people are doing, we begin to create blocks because we're not looking at ourselves. We're looking at everyone else and comparing ourselves. And you're perfectly made, so God didn't make you to be compared to other people.
Absolutely.
He put you on, you're here to essentially fulfill your own purpose. So every time that we sit down and we superficially measure our success against the success of other people, we set ourselves back so much further than before. Because you know what the results of superficial measuring are? Well, the results of that are going to be the jealousy, the envy, the anger, the confusion, the feeling lost. Why is it not happening for me? Here comes the pity party. Oh, we're not manifesting anything in a pity party.
Right.
The law of attraction is that we're always using it, good and bad. So if we're thinking we're having this pity party and we're saying, well, how is things working out so well for this person? Nothing's working out so well for me. Like nothing's happening. I don't know why. Well, you're going to continue to manifest more of that. So
Absolutely.
Let's step back from abundance for a second because there's a science of law of attraction that we have to understand first before we even get into manifesting money.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the simple basic tips for law of attraction that I use.
Mhm.
One important thing I want to introduce as well is something called supernatural measurement. Okay?
Mhm.
And when we supernaturally measure in our lives, it means that we release and surrender all control to the universe and to God to allow our manifestation to come forward. It means that God is more. It means that the universe is more. It means that there is more in the capacity of God in the universe. There is more expansion of consciousness available to us if only we will seek it out. It
Absolutely.
means that don't put a limit on God to say, well, this is how far I'm going to reach in my success. Don't do that. Because when you're living in limitless potential, you can have any amount of money that you want. You can do anything that you must first just get these very simple basics down to teach you the science of abundance. So some law of attraction that are really important and super clear. First, number one, in my opinion, is you've got to put God first in everything you do. Whatever your spiritual belief is, before you start manifesting, you have got to put God's promise first. Okay?
Absolutely.
Number two, you're going to have to get really specific about what you want. Okay? So, for example, if you needed to manifest $1,000 in 24 hours, the reason I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why it would and it wouldn't work, and we'll come back to that in 1 second. But number two is get really specific about what you want. The third thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to write down what you want, along with any inspirational ideas that come forward to help you manifest whatever it is you're focused on. You're going to have to write it down. Now, a lot of people say, well, why do you need to write it down? It's in my head. Well, that's the problem, because the human brain is having, like, I think 150 to 200,000 thoughts a day. How in the world are you going to be able to remember that idea or that concept about it?
Right.
So, in that process of writing down what it is you want, a second step just in that process itself is really writing down the reasons why you think it won't happen, because you've got to get in touch with your limiting beliefs and the negativity that's actually living in your subconscious mind about why you think it won't manifest. Okay?
Right.
Now,
right.
miracles are very reasonable things to ask for, and they are definitely possible. But the thing is, if the reasons why you think it won't manifest carry a heavier level and rate of consciousness or energy than the reasons why you think it would manifest, and more than likely manifest. Okay? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Can you repeat that? I'm not sure they got it all. The full sentence.
I kind of lost my train of thought there. But what I was saying is that you've got to get in touch with those negative subconscious beliefs as to why you think it's not going to happen. What negativity that you're thinking about is greater or outweighs the positive that you think that it can happen, the negative more than likely will manifest because it carries a heavier weight.
I get that. I totally get it.
Now think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. Like our world, I think, is made up of 92% darkness, if I'm not mistaken, okay? Which means that only about 8% of our world is light energy, okay? And so if we go right back to the Bible, actually the whole book of Genesis is the book of law of attraction and creation. If you only want to read one book in the Bible, read Genesis. Now the Bible, law of attraction is not intended to replace the Bible or your spirituality in any way. It's supposed to enhance it. It's a tool, right?
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
Enhances and builds on it. So use the law of attraction as a tool because the whole book of Genesis talks about it. God spoke to the void, right? Now think about it in your life. We're going to talk about abundance here. So that a void in your life would be, okay, wow, every month I'm paycheck to paycheck. Something is just wrong here. I'm not being fulfilled. I don't have happiness because you don't realize that just the word abundance and money affect your health. They affect your mental condition, your spirituality. So many different things are tied to this, but let's take that out of it. Everything in the center of it is spirituality. So out of that comes all good things, okay?
Yeah.
So the spirituality is the core base and center. Now, in Genesis in the Bible, it says God spoke to the void. Now, the void in your life would be that you haven't spoken into your finances. You haven't told people to show up there. You haven't commanded anything in those areas. So right now, what operates in a void is darkness and confusion and things you can't understand and random bills coming in the mail and all these different things manifesting and never having enough money and always being broke and all these different negative thoughts and feelings. That's what's operating because you haven't spoken into your financial sector of your life. Now, to take your life and break it down into my spiritual well-being, my finances, my career, my personal development, my family and kids, my social hobbies, and traveling and other things I want to do, you've got to speak into each of those sectors of your life, which is why we make vision boards. So we can speak into those areas of our life.
Absolutely.
Right? So you got to speak into the void like God did. And so what happened when God spoke to the void? He spoke into the void and said, let there be light. So if you know your financial situation is not where you want it to be, you've got to put light on your financial situation. Meaning that, listen, God, in order to fully operate every month, in order to do what it is that you need me to do and impact the lives that you need me to impact, I'm going to need $5,000 to $10,000 to live a lifestyle that's comfortable for me. Well, the bottom line is that the reason why people don't ask is we've been taught to feel guilty about wanting money and being able to serve people. Well, what better way to serve people than to have wealth? Now, abundance means the overflow of.
Yes.
You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
You can't even get into abundance until you have an overflow. So if you're not full, there's no way you can sow into the lives of other people, most definitely. But when it comes to abundance and being able to financially sow into the lives of other people, how can you do that when you're not even overflowing yet? If you're doing your monthly financial sheets and you're in the negative, there's no way you can be loaning people money or doing other things for people. You've got to get it together. It's like we're on a plane right now, and they say put on your oxygen mask first before helping the labor. But
Absolutely.
We've been so conditioned to think I've got to help everybody else first. Or
right.
That when lifeguards go into their training,
mm-hmm.
that they're taught that you're going to have to let some people drown.
Right.
Well, let me tell you why. I know you're saying, like, well, he's a lifeguard. He's supposed to save lives, right? No, but let me tell you why. You have to let some people drown because there are some people who will get stuck in a mess, okay, like drowning, and they will panic so much that they will drown you too. You got to let some people drown in their own mess.
I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
So when it comes to abundance, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Now, when it comes to being a millionaire and attracting money, you've got to believe already that you are a millionaire. So another step in law of attraction is you're going to have to create some daily rituals to reaffirm to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Negative programming is so deep.
I get it. Oh, my God.
I sit here all day and say I'm abundant, healthy, wealthy, and I'll be saying it, like regurgitating it, but I'll never believe it deep down inside because I never get to how I really feel. I'll never get to, okay, well, I feel really bad that I went broke once. I feel really bad that this happened to me once. And deep down inside, I really feel like a failure. Until I get in touch with those feelings, I'll never crack the science of abundance. I'll never crack the science of law of attraction. I'll never crack anything.
Wow.
That we're always taught, don't think about the negative. Let's focus on the positive.
Yes.
I'm telling you today to focus on the negative and what the heck
wow.
you're thinking.
Wow.
If you don't handle it, it's going to come out and manifest somewhere else.
Wow. That is amazing, Christina. That is so powerful. That alone just like really helped me so much. It just
did it help you?
Yes, absolutely. Because you're right. We are taught that if you want good in your life, you want to be positive, you want to say positive affirmations, you don't talk negative because you're going to keep repeating it. But it makes a lot of sense to explore what's going on, the programming that's there in the subconscious mind. So, I mean, I absolutely get it.
Yeah.
That is just amazing.
And in any area of your life, in your relationships, in your finances, I mean, I am with my ideal partner now who fully believes in my vision and helps me fulfill my purpose. But it wasn't until I got in touch with myself to say, hey, Christina, what's going on with you? What were your problems in your relationships in the past? And not even realizing, oh, wow, I had daddy issues from the time I was a small child that I had never dealt with. And it wasn't until I got to this phase of realizing I was choosing relationships that were replacing that. And it weren't making me, they would temporarily make me happy. It would fulfill a lower level energy of making me feel wanted or needy. But it wasn't until I got to this place of finding peace within myself that I could begin finding it in other places. So
that is amazing.
The final thing you're going to have to do, besides those soulful practices, is you're going to have to let go and let God. Okay?
Right.
Not so much here. And the reason why you have to let go and you have to let God is because you got to think about it like this. Okay? After in Genesis, when it says that God spoke to all these boys and said, "Let there be," and spoken into creation, every night he rested and went to sleep and chilled. It ain't micromanaged.
Right.
He chilled out and he relaxed. So what
wow.
we do in order to truly attain this abundance that we're looking for is let go and let God decide what you need.
Wow.
Submit it to him and keep working, but stop worrying about it because I've never heard of worrying manifest anything good.
Absolutely. You said it, Christina, right there, right then and there. How can you be reached, Christina? If someone wants to work with you So if you would like to work with me or learn more about me, you can visit me online at www.christinadukes.com on my website. All my contact info is there, or reach out to me on social media. I'm pretty available. So Christina Dukes. And you spell your name, Christina, Dukes, Dukes. Yep. We have to have you. Go ahead. Christina. Say it one more time.
Christ, I-N-A.
I love it. That's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much for your beautiful message. We have to have you come back on again. Are you available next Sunday?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah, because this is just the beginning. I mean, there's so much to be to.
We're just touching the surface here. There are so many things that we could get in depth on, and this is really just it's a spiritual journey of self-love.
Absolutely.
We're not going to get into manifesting money or doing anything until you really get in tune and begin to love yourself and accept yourself and honor and respect yourself. And I do want to share with you guys, so maybe we can do this in next week, or if we have to continue on. It's just some of the techniques that I'm using that have helped me through the process, because you know what? God takes you through something because you're going to teach people the how. So my job right now is to teach you everything that I know.
Wow. And I'm so grateful for you, Christina. Thank you so much.
You. Okay, darling. I really appreciate it. Very powerful day.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for being a guest today, Christina Dukes. And audience, thank you so much for tuning in to the Awakening with Katina Love, Create Your Success and Abundance Mindset. And we will be continuing. This is going to be a series, so stay tuned. If you want to keep in contact with me, I'm on Facebook, Katina Love, Katina, Love, Love. Namaste.
The grilled bagel breakfast sandwich is back as part of Tim's 2 for $4 breakfast deal. Get yours at Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop.
Welcome to the High Top Resort.
Hey, I'm not done. You need to know this offer is good with any of our delicious classic bagel varieties like everything, 12 grain, or even pretzel. Plus, you can have your choice of sausage or bacon. Okay, now we're done. Tim's 2 for $4 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants. Offer available on breakfast sandwiches for a limited time. Plus applicable taxes. Single sandwich at regular price. The grilled bagel breakfast sandwich is back as part of Tim's 2 for $4 breakfast deal. Get yours at Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop.
Welcome to the High Top Resort.
Hey, I'm not done. You need to know this offer is good with any of our delicious classic bagel varieties like everything, 12 grain, or even pretzel. Plus, you can have your choice of sausage or bacon. Okay, now we're done. Tim's 2 for $4 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants. Offer available on breakfast sandwiches for a limited time. Plus applicable taxes. Single sandwich at regular price.